Hey, sup guys, welcome back. Today's video is going to be something a little bit different. This is something, I hate to have to go and talk about this because a lot of my platoon were offended by some of the things that I said, and I wanted to just address it all. I wanted to put an end to it, even to my company. Like, everything's being spread around. So I'm not going to give out any names from this all, but I just want to address the drama that is happening in my personal life that is now going to my YouTube life. So let's get into it. I do recommend you watch this video, even if you are not part of this whole mess. I just want you guys to watch this video and man, just take it for what it is. I'm gonna be telling you the honest truth, and that's all I've been here telling you is the honest truth. Anybody from all my platoon days and all the military days, I want you to go and look at all my videos if you have the chance and find a part where I did not tell the truth. I have told the truth in all of it. If you do find that part, let me know. I will look at that and I will take down the video and I will do a public apology. I promise you. I promise you. Like, I'm not here trying to go and boost my own ego, but I guarantee you, you have my guarantee that you're not going to find anything that is untruthful. I put out the things. It may be misunderstood, but nothing's untruthful. I have never said that I've been to combat. I have never said that I completed my contract in the Marine Corps. I have never said that I was a good rifleman. Never. Every single video I tell people, do squats. Do not go into the infantry if you're short, unless you're like freaking strong. I say that in every single video almost. Like it. Anyway, I'm getting ahead of myself. I do want to go and get into the topic, which is how this all got brought into place. So I got a message from this guy. I'm not going to say his name. We'll call him C. This is the beginning of his first name or his last name. And, I never really liked the guy in the Marine Corps. He never liked me as well. We didn't get along, and you know what? That's fine. There's plenty of people who I didn't get along with in the Marine Corps, and there's plenty of people that didn't get along with him. I know one of my best buds when I was in the Marine Corps, slapped him, a couple times, all right? So, on the field, I remember he was saying shit. It's it's just like who he is, which is fine. But, like, whatever. I'm going to get into it. All right, so what he said. And again, I'm going to try and do as minimal cuts as possible, all right? He said, dude, you are not a wounded warrior. You are the worst kind of person. You need to stop acting like you did shit, exclamation point. You got out because you were suicidal. You didn't get to claim the Marine title or say you were an 0311. You never made a damn hike and always fell out. You are not a wounded warrior. And so, pretty strong thing to be woken up to. So I was like, oh, okay. And he said, or my response was, hey, C, never got along with you, so I understand the beef and the insults, but let me send you the exact post I wrote on Facebook regarding my discharge a couple months back. I think it will bring light to the situation. And I went on to go and send him that, and then I also wrote, and as far as the Wounded Warrior alumni thing is concerned, it's a program for any disabled veterans, combat or not, including Air Force, of which I am 40% disabled. I will give you proof of right now. This is the email that I got from the Veterans Affairs regarding my my whole disability thing. And I did a whole video on my disabilities. If you guys want to talk about, look at that video that I posted. I'm sure you guys have already done that, but I will, I'll briefly describe them later in the video. Where we know so of which I am 40% disabled for things other than suicidal tendencies. In regards to Wounded Warrior alumni, it's just a third-party group that I like to support, not because I did shit or even went on a deployment, but because I support the cause of helping other disabled vets. Now again, I will even show you the email that was my acceptance as an alumni of Wounded Warriors. You have to send your DD-214, you have to send all these different things, and anybody who looks at my DD-214 or knows me in person knows that I have 2 badges. I have my freaking, what is it, the one you get at boot camp? I don't even remember the name of it anymore. And I got the one that you get for joining an infantry battalion during a time of war. Those are the only 2 badges I have. It's nothing. So in the DD-214, it will have your badges listed there, and it'll say if you saw combat or not. None of those things exist. I sent it up to Wounded Warriors, which is, it's got millions of alumni. There's not millions of disabled veterans, there's not millions of people who were wounded in combat, but there's millions of disabled veterans. So I sent them the DD-214. I sent proof that that is me. So I sent my driver's license, and I was accepted into it. And that is the email that I got. So as far as being part of the Wounded Warrior group, I am totally legally in the right here. I will apologize for something that I think, I guess it makes sense that would be misunderstood. So if you're thinking that Wounded Warrior means that I went to combat and that I did shit, which in every single video, if you guys look back, almost every single video that has this sort of topic, I let them know straight up front, all my audience, that I have never been to combat. I hated that fact that I got out and I didn't get to see combat. A little background on myself. I said I was going to get into this. I'm a Marine vet. I was not deployed. My injuries give me a hearing aid, and even then, they admin set me over depression and anxiety. So admin set, I know a lot of guys who got under admin set. 2 guys in my squad alone, and they actually put me under admin set as well. But I'll get into it. Really difficult just because I got out early. A lot of you who have been following my channel know that I got out. But Wounded Warriors, I think a lot of people think that, oh, it's just for those guys who are wounded in combat. Not at all. That is not how it was. I have been very clear about how I was injured. You guys can look at that video, and I will, read that Facebook post, which will talk about it a little bit more in depth. So, anyway, that's just one message. It's something I wanted to go and touch on. Again, I have mad respect for this guy. He's actually, I mean, once he actually goes to medical, he's going to end up, partly disabled just because of his hearing loss. He's got a bad right ear hearing loss, and I don't know why he doesn't have a hearing aid. I don't know why he's deciding to stay in his platoon as an injured guy. If it is true that you have 85% hearing loss, you're probably having trouble hearing people, which I did, and I have a hearing aid in the Marine Corps because of it, which you cannot go to combat with. You guys all know that. But yeah, if you have 85% hearing loss, why would you put your platoon through, why would you have them deal with somebody who can't even hear them? That's in my opinion, cruel. But hey, I have mad respect for you though. You're still in the Marine Corps and you're actually completing your contract. That's more than what I did. You've actually been on a deployment. Every single video that I've posted in the past, I'm not afraid to say that. I've said in all those videos, I have not been in a deployment. I have not been to combat. It's not something I'm hiding from you guys. I'm not trying to make myself look better than I actually am. I have always been clear about this stuff. Again, this was just something, I guess they got to have a field op or something. This is how I picture it in their head. They got to have a field op or something, and they came back and they're upset about something, and then they saw Corey, he's saying that he's this and that. Oh my gosh, I'm so mad. He's he was a bad rifleman and stuff, and I'm like, that's literally what I talk about in my videos. I don't know why you're hating my videos now. I literally tell people, it's all right. You've got to build up the strength with squatting and other strength exercises because hiking will be your life. Oh my god, man! And I feel so bad for having them carry my pack and stuff, and that's just one thing. Do a lot of squats, okay? Do a lot of squats and a lot of deadlifts. Because if you're small like me, especially, you are literally not going to be able to perform. Gonna be lunges, and I've told you so many times in the previous videos to work out your lower body. All right, this is gonna be the most important thing when you get out of boot camp and into your unit. This entire time, I won't show the messages, but I was talking to my roommate while I was in the Marines, and I was like, what? Why is everybody mad at me? The whole company. He's like, yeah. I was like, fuck. I don't want the whole company thinking I'm an asshole. I'm not. I'm whatever. I'm Corey now. All right, been out for a year and a half, about somewhere around there. I'm Corey. I got out early. Everybody knows that. In my videos, this isn't a surprise. I'm not trying to put myself out to be like that. And I was just talking to him the whole time, and I was like, what do you think I should change about my videos? What do you think? Why are they mad? I want to know. I don't want to go and offend any of my company. I love these guys, and for those who are listening to this, and just for my audience, I really do want you guys to watch. So a little background to why they're being why they're upset with me saying that I'm a Marine and that I'm a rifleman, because there's some accusations there, is because in the Marines, it's not enough to pass boot camp and you become a Marine. It's not enough to become a rifleman, which I did 2 months after boot camp. I have my DD-214 rifleman 0311. Now it's not enough to have those things, pass those things. In order to be a Marine or a rifleman, there's a lot of things that they think that you have to do, which is you have to go through hazing rituals, and you have to go and you have to go on a deployment, and like, oh, you have to kill somebody, or like, it just keeps going up the chain. Now, a little boot story. I think a lot of you guys are gonna hate me for saying that, but like, I'm gonna give you guys a boot story. Fuck it. In boot camp, all right, there's this gunny that took us aside when we all became Marines. Technically became Marines. Like, this gunny stopped us and he was like, look, I need you guys to remember one thing. Everybody school circle around me, and we all got around him. And he started off with this: you're never gonna make it in the Marines. You're never gonna make it. And his whole rant, I'm never gonna be able to replicate it. But like, basically what he was saying is, you're never gonna make it. The only time you make it in the Marines is when you're dead in a memorial grave. That is the only time. If you're a Marine, it's say you're a cook in the Marines. Oh, you're not a true Marine, and people will say, oh, even after he completes his contract, oh, you're not a true Marine. If you're a pogue in the Marine, oh, you're not a rifleman. You're barely even a Marine. Oh, some people will go as far as, oh, you're not a Marine, which is 10% of the Marines is riflemen or infantry. When I say rifleman, infantry, just take it as the same shit. And you're never gonna go and make it. So it doesn't matter what you do in the Marine Corps. It doesn't matter if you stayed in for 8 years, 4 years, 8 years. You can keep going up. If you didn't die, then you're not a full Marine. Marines give their all, and it's something that that's, I don't know. I think that's something that really like has helped me cope with this whole thing getting out, and I understand why he said that. Is because it doesn't matter how much you did. So these guys that are in my unit, a lot of you are not going to see combat. Almost guaranteed. Let's think about it realistically. You're probably not going to see combat. There are a lot of infantry Marines, a lot of Marines in general, who do not see combat, especially in 2018. There's not much shit going on. It's not freaking OIF, OEF, like all over the place. It's barely anything. So you're probably not going to see combat. When you get out, you will not be able to say you're a combat Marine. And all those people that you were saying, they aren't true Marines because they didn't go to combat, or like all these things. You're not going to be able to say that for yourself. Because you're going to know deep down inside, you were a Marine and you were a rifleman. It doesn't matter if you were a boot, which means, you didn't. And what's the definition of a boot? Oh, it's somebody who didn't go on a deployment. Okay. And then for rifleman, it's like, it's somebody who didn't see combat. And like, it just keeps going up. And it keeps going up. Imagine yourself as a 20-year-old veteran, or a 20 years in the service, right? And you get out. And they're like, oh, you were in the Army, not the Marine Corps. Nothing, right? Or like, oh, you went on plenty of combat deployments, but all your friends died. And now you're the one that's left standing. Why were you the one left standing? Did you not give your all? Like, all these things? And those are the people that kill themselves afterwards because they realize, you can never make it. It doesn't matter how long you stayed in the Marine Corps. It doesn't matter how long you stay in the service. You never make it. And that's something that, I don't expect you guys to realize right now. And you're probably looking at me like, come on, you were only in the Marine Corps for your, barely 2 years. And yeah, those things are true, but fuck, man, it's that's how it goes. You're gonna get out and you're gonna realize, wow, I didn't do shit. And you're not gonna be able to go and talk to these people and say oh, you didn't do shit. You're gonna realize you're gonna be like me. And I'm fine with you guys waiting until then. I'm fine with all those things. There's not it's not something that I care about super bad. I got those texts from C. I said his name, but I cut it out. And I was I was upset at first, but then I was like, look, he's never going to understand. He's going to spread around the company because he thinks he has it right, but it's this is how it is. Now, I'm not trying to make you mad. I appreciate what you're doing. You're actively serving. You're completing your contract as a rifleman. That's badass. That's awesome. You're a better man than me. Fuck it. I don't care. But anyway, guys, I think I've said enough regarding that. I think I've touched on all the points that I want to. Let me just read the Facebook post now. I'll bring it up on my iPad. This is a post I put back in April 12th, and I'll even let you read along as well. This is a post I made in April 12th this year, so quite a while ago. I mean, a couple months back, right? And it was it took me a long time to make it. I'll just read it out loud, and I think you guys will understand what I'm saying. So, let's start. I've never actually told the whole story behind me getting out of the Marine Corps. So if you aren't ready for a 5-minute read, just look at the cool pictures instead. So I posted some pictures from my time in the Marine Corps as a Marine, whether you like it or not. Anyway, I've kept my platoon and unit in the dark about what happened, and it's been eating me alive this past year. So let me just get started. Here's a timeline of the events leading to my discharge. June 2015, I left for boot camp. September 2015, I become a Marine and head to School of Infantry. October 2015, it begins to rain during qualification for the Infantry Automatic Rifle M27. My combat instructor knocks on my helmet and has me run the 200 meters to the firing line. During the sprint, the left orange foam earplug they gave me fell out, as they aren't usable in the rain. I fire hundreds of rounds and hit 44 out of 45 targets and return to the pit where we would downgrade any unspent ammo. I then ask my buddy why my left earplug won't come out. He says it's not there. That's when I realized I was half deaf and now have tinnitus. November 2015, we go through the experimental infantryman test to see if we are physically capable of having an infantry MOS. Guys, look at this. We are the last training company to try the test before they implemented it as an actual required qualification, which my cousin just failed. And he's 6 foot something. I failed the combat weighted wall climb and the Mark 19 press, but passed the 50 meter 400 pound dummy drag by 2 seconds. Barely, guys. In other words, I failed. Which a lot of you guys are pointing out in my videos. I failed. I tell you guys, I fail these things. I'm bad. I was a bad rifleman. I try my best, but I failed. Also, mostly because of my size, I was not physically capable of keeping up during hikes, and I failed every single one of them in School of Infantry. The only required one was the 20K, which I passed during the final rehike, only because they slowed the pace down by more than 25%. This meant I would carry on in my enlistment as a rifleman, even though I failed all the criteria. April 2016, my squad decides to play touch football for morning PT. My team leader and his friend have the ball, the two biggest guys in the squad. I won't say their last names. So I run at them to tag them out. The momentum of getting hit by both of them slams me to the ground, giving me a concussion, which a lot of you guys will remember. I think it was 1st and 2nd squad. I failed okay. Where was I? The following month, I have out-of-body experiences, precursors of mild seizures, which I told Doc S. I don't know if he's still in. Actually, he re-enlisted, so I told him. I don't know if he'll remember, but that. And I also told the freaking blue side corpsman that I was seeing all this stuff for. The following month, I have out-of-body experiences, precursors of mild seizures, headaches, and vertigo attacks due to the concussion. I failed the Humvee license physical exam due to these side effects. This is well documented. Everybody knew I had these problems, and I still have them. September 2016, I'm given a hearing aid because of the danger my hearing loss has brought to my squad. Examples include not understanding orders during live fire maneuvers, and video footage of myself not understanding directions to not shoot an armed guard during hyper-realistic training in a combat center called the Infantry Immersion Trainer in Camp Pendleton. You guys know about this. There's video footage of me. I know Z, who is in my squad, can rep for me when I say this. I know that sergeant that we had is, I'm pretty sure he's in 3-7 now, but Z, you know that I did this. I was point, and I saw that guy, and I did not understand a word you guys were saying. We saw video footage of it. Jesus. Up until now, we have been okay, I'm not trying to be mad at you guys. I'm just I'm putting it out there. This is something that it's I feel really misunderstood regarding this stuff. All right, let's get into it. Up until now, we have been undergoing week in, week out field training, which includes high explosives within close proximity, the concussive blast from M27 bursts, which actually, after you have a TBI, like I had, well, that's how it is. It literally, it shakes up your brain. It feels weird. I think some of you, if you have a TBI from my platoon, put it down in the comments. I am curious, if you have those things. This is my specific vertigo thing, but I'm curious. The concussive blast from M27 bursts, M67 frag grenades, and rocket shots doesn't allow my brain to heal from my previous concussion. The lack of rehabilitation time for my injury has now made it permanent, which is well documented, and everybody knows that this is how TBIs are lasting inside veteran communities. And you look at the football community. With what is it, CCT or something, concussive, whatever. It has now made it permanent as I get migraines and intense vertigo very frequently to this day. Yesterday, I was in bed for 3 hours. I could not get up. I could not drive to work. Alright, October 2016. There's a tragedy. This is something that a lot of you guys have been touching on. Oh, he was just a suicidal guy. That's why he got out. All these things. See, you didn't see all this medical paperwork behind the scenes, but this is why a lot of people think that I got out, and I'm about to say, and I put it in this post that everybody saw, including you guys if you're friends of me with Facebook. All right, October 2016, there's a tragedy that happens within my direct family back home. This is something that it's a big one, guys. I'm not gonna say the tragedy. It's a big tragedy. October 2016, there's a tragedy that happens with my direct family back home, and I desperately need to stay in touch with them. Instead, I am sent to the field to train more without cell service, without any of my phone, right? During a hike, I twist my ankle pretty bad, and everybody knew I was limping around. But instead of getting medical care, I am told to push on. Obviously, this is a Marine thing. I know a lot of you are going to be like, yeah, big whoop. And you know what? Like, maybe I was just being a bitch. I probably was just being a bitch. But this is the final straw for me, as I feel extremely neglected, as do many of us. Think of all the past injuries I was just talking about. Think about all the things that were happening within my own family back home. In a fit of rage, I comically twist my own ankle repeatedly to ensure I get treated for my injury. Everybody remembers that day. Anybody who was standing there. I looked everybody in the fucking eye, and I was so mad at life, and like fuck, man. I was suicidal. I was about to jump off that fucking cliff to our left. Like, no shit. This was much more intense than I can do justice by writing, but it really was an act of self-harm from an extremely depressed 19-year-old man. I was 19 years old, guys. You guys are, what, 21? I'm 21. We're young, all right? We don't know everything. You can act like you know everything because, you're a Marine and everything. You don't, all right? Including myself. I don't know everything either. They continue training me until there are talks that I should be put in the Wounded Warrior Battalion by the lieutenant at the time, if you guys remember. They deny me because I don't have much paperwork to prove my disabilities, because they rarely let me get evaluated. So then I asked my leadership if I can go to schooling for a different job I could excel in the Marine Corps. I was saying, can I be anything else? And I was even asking if I could be the guy who just sits in the company office, and they said no because it was already taken by somebody who's very good at their job, by the way. They didn't, and I asked if I could, go to schooling for a different job I could excel in the Marine Corps. They deny me as I only have 2 years left, and they already invested too much money in me to be a rifleman. So again, I already spent too much time in the Marine Corps to warrant a lat move, and they already invested too much money. They're not going to go and invest more money for training and stuff just to have me serve for another 9 months and then I get out. Like, come on. It's beginning to become clear to my leadership that I am not fit for combat duties, mainly because infantrymen with hearing aids aren't allowed to go to combat as they are a risk to the unit. They give me a choice to wait over a year for a true medical discharge, or to go home with a general under honorable conditions discharge. I choose the second because it is the quickest, and I need to get home, or I need to deal with the family issues I have back home, which I already said I'm not going to talk about, but those were some big fucking things, guys. I know we all have things going on, but this is something that in my 19-year-old brain, this was something that I needed to, come on. Yeah, and if I were to tell you the story, I will message it to you on Instagram or Facebook or whatever you want. I will message it to you guys, and you guys will be happy to hear it. I'm sure you'll understand after I tell you, but fuck, man. I have a fond farewell with my brothers, and I haven't talked to most of them since leaving. I shook their hands. The guys who cared. Part of the reason I haven't stayed in touch was my regret. I'm regretful, guys. I still am. Some of it was confusion, but perhaps the biggest reason was my humiliation. This is something I wrote, and I put it for everybody. Now, 1 year and 3 weeks later, I have been diagnosed with tinnitus, which everybody that's infantry has it, right? Not a biggie. Hearing loss. Hey, C, I know you said you have hearing loss. I recommend you go to a medical professional and get that seen and get a hearing aid, because you're literally letting your unit down by staying in. Nobody needs to have to yell and scream and have you be like, what did you say? Did you say left or right? Nobody needs to be part of that. That's cruel to your teammates. And if you get somebody killed because of that, yeah, I'm saving you some big trouble, guys. And I was also diagnosed with a mild traumatic brain injury tied with BPPV vertigo, which is, again, part of my own personal vertigo, which makes it so, I wake up in the morning and I have vertigo for 3 hours, and I'll be puking in the fucking bathtub sometimes. I'll be calling the police. There's There's a lot of things, all right? This is just something that it's permanent. There's no cure to BPPV. I don't know what it stands for, but fuck, man. And then I also have adjustment disorder with depression and anxiety, and many more issues regarding my joints. So these are things that I don't get disability for. This is just some other stuff. I'm telling this not because I want your forgiveness. And I'm talking to all you, my company. I'm not telling, and this is also something I wrote. I'm telling this not because I want your forgiveness, sympathy, or attention. And I'm definitely not telling this because I have gripes with my unit. There are always bad apples, but my Lance Corporal peers were the greatest men I've ever known, and I still believe that, no matter how you feel about me, guys. My only hope out of all this is that you understand where I'm coming from. Sometimes it doesn't matter how hard you try, failure is often just one earplug away. Here's a verse our chaplain told us at Bridgeport, after the almost unanimously worst day of our lives. You guys remember that. Put a video about it too. I recommend you watch it if you think I'm just bullshitting to all my people because of all what you're hearing. Watch the video. I didn't bullshit anything. Even youths shall faint and be weary, and young men shall fall exhausted. Isaiah 40:30. Now that I'm in contact with the DAV, the Disabled American Veterans, because I'm 40% disabled, I talk to them now. And they help me get that rating. And the Veterans Affairs, I've gained the confidence to tell my story no matter how humiliating. I'm thinking now that I have this out there, I'll share some of the stories in the future of how selfless my buddies were during the first year of my battalion's reactivation. Thanks for listening. Nothing in there was talking about how awesome of a Marine I was. Nothing in there was talking about anything. This was me explaining why I have, what the whole situation was. And I am, I can't, some of you won't believe me, all right? I didn't lie in any of that. I didn't stretch the truth. I said everything. Everything I wrote was 100% accurate. This is what happened. You can ask anybody. You can ask my first sergeant. Well, actually, he got out for hazing. You can ask anybody that had anything to do with this, and you will know, yes, that's what happened. Fuck, man. That's, I don't know what else you want from me. This is what happened. And there's nothing else. I already said everything I wanted to say in the other parts of the videos. I hope you look at some of my other videos and let me know if any of those things were offensive. If if any of those things were untruthful, which none of them are, but if you do find any of those things, again, let me know. I don't want to lie to anybody. The purpose of this channel, I'll let myself speak for this one. But before I get into the video, gotta recommend you subscribe. What I do on this channel is I give you advice going into the military, getting out of the military, and everything in between. So if you find this sort of stuff informative or interesting, make sure to subscribe. So guys, that's the video. I hope you understand where I'm coming from. That's all I wanted from any of this. I don't mean to go and make anybody feel bad, but again, I'm not gonna get mad, or I'm not gonna get sad over the fact that my previous company. A lot of you don't want me to say, oh, my platoon, because it's not your platoon. We hated you. I'm not, I'm not trying to. I don't know where I'm going with this, but fuck, man. Please understand where I'm coming from. I hope you guys enjoyed this. I don't know if you actual fans out there are looking at this and thinking whatever, but I hope you got something out of this. You already know this is just repeated things that I've said overall. Leave in the comments if I have ever said. Even you guys who have been following my channel for a while, leave in the comments if anything that I have said in here is not the truth. Let me know. I promise you it's not, but let me know down in the comments if I was untruthful. This is something I want everybody to know, and this is a very humiliating thing for me to address, but it's not something that I was lying about. Integrity is something that my grandpa, who was my only dad when I was young, taught me. And I'm still a Baptist Christian. I'm not somebody who lies, and this is something that I take very seriously. But anyway, guys, I'll talk to you guys in the next one. I'm not going to quit YouTube. This is what this channel is for. And I'll see you guys later.